Like live or live like I'm about to hit the button live? Oh, we're live. Okay, yeah, that's how it always is. Always when you're trying to make your best impression, you come off looking like your worst. But guess what? That's only the very beginning of this show. We have a lot today. In fact, we have so much, there's no way it's going to fit. We're going to have to do a separate mini pod afterwards, and that's probably going to go too far. So we might as well get started. Here, the DLS Stars show on a Monday starts right now.
I'd like to know why those guys are smiling. Sorry, Owen.
Who's smiling?
Didn't that look like Jamie was smiling?
They're playoff
Can
bound.
we go back to that?
They're playoff bound.
We can't go back to it?
Welcome, everybody, to
read the thumbnail?
DLS
You got to play the whole thing
podcast.
all over again?
Monday, March 23rd. This has all the makings of going off the rails within the first
seriously,
2
producer of
minutes
the year
of the
cannot
show.
back it up like 10 seconds?
Producer of the year. Wait,
I just
are we
thought
giving him
don't
title?
tell me they're not smiling.
They
Oh,
are.
you're talking about the thumbnail.
Jamie's not. Duchesne
They've
is
won
smiling.
one game in the last 4.
They're playoff bound.
Why
That's
are you
true.
smiling?
Because they've clinched a playoff spot. Before we get into
That's-
all of this,
that's
and we
bad
have a whole
producing right
conversation
there.
about it, don't forget here on the show that we have 2 T-shirts that dropped a week ago, the Jason Robertson shirt and the Wyatt Johnston sharpshooter. They are hot commodities. You know you need those, especially as it's starting to warm up around North Texas or wherever you're consuming the DLS Stars podcast. You don't have to be in Texas or even in the United States. We have fans all over the globe. We love it. Get it today, alldls.com. Don't forget, diehards get 20% off all merchandise. And if you haven't signed up for a diehard subscription, you could actually sign up for your first year and get one of those shirts as your free t-shirt when you sign up. I think it makes total sense. All right. Alongside Craig Ludwig, who is full of questions already, Sam Nessler, back in studio, not wearing a safety bubble, some sort of bacterially protective mask.
It got infected.
I'm Owen Newkirk. Sean Shapiro, not wearing a hat, which is 50-50, right?
He's
Looks good,
nicely
Sean.
coiffed.
And our producer, Ryan Vodders. Oh, boy, this show is going to go so fast, isn't it?
Yes.
It's going to be fun. Let's start with the obvious. Last night, the Dallas Stars clinched a playoff spot. Now, I don't even want to call it backing into a playoff berth because of the first 70 games of the year. They have 97 points, right? They've done wonderful things to this point. It's just last night they lost to the Vegas Golden Knights and had help because Utah beat LA in overtime. And that's the mechanism that led them to clinching a playoff spot. So I can see where somebody might say, well, they got some help. They've helped themselves for 70 games so far of the 82. Officially in a playoff spot for the 5th consecutive year, which is the second longest run in franchise history, tied for. The longest was actually BC before Craig.
I thought you meant before Craig. I was like,
No.
literally BC.
Oh, no.
Really?
So North
Before
Stars
Craig,
before Craig, or we could say BL before Luds. But from 1980 to 1986, the North Stars went on a 7-year consecutive run of making the playoffs. That's the longest in franchise history. So 5 years in a row. And here's another, this is not before Craig. 1998-99.
That's
You
when they were
guys,
in the Norris division, right?
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Nice.
That was an easy division.
You guys in 1998-99 needed only 63 games to clinch a playoff spot. Dallas did it in 70, which is, I believe, the fewest games to clinch one, except for that year. That was a remarkably fast season. You guys just were on a tear. So
What year are we talking about?
98-99.
Well, that was a good year.
You notice what you see every time we come up with these franchise records, it keeps coming back to that season.
You put clutter in my head when you start bringing up all these different years and times. And I just caught up to the 80-80 one that you were talking about, whatever year that was.
80 to 86. You were definitely not playing for the North
I didn't think we use
Stars.
that as a comparison anymore with this Dallas
It's all
Stars now.
part of the same
Still
franchise.
Yeah.
I thought everybody split off from that, especially the people in Minnesota didn't want to be.
I mean, we
No,
literally
you're
talked about
thinking
Wyatt
Arizona.
Johnston last night. Franchise record over Dino Cicerelli, right?
Oh, that's right. The flash. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, there you go. So, Sean, we were having a pre-show conversation today, and you brought up some interesting things because step one for Jim Nill as general manager of the Dallas Stars is to win a Stanley Cup. That is goal number one, right? We want you to win a Stanley Cup. But you've talked about this at length from the business side of it, being a Cowboys town, right? Football reigns supreme in Dallas. How important it is for ownership and management, but less specifically ownership, that the Stars are relevant, competitive, and a perennial playoff team. So is 5 years in a row now, that's sort of like step 1B, right? Win the cup is the first. The second is be relevant every year. Is Jim Nill doing his job?
I mean, I actually don't think, I guess technically on paper, win the Stanley Cup is goal number one, but I actually would argue the goal of a GM is, well, that's the goal. I don't think the actual job is to win the Stanley Cup. I think the job, as Jim has told me before, the job of a GM is to put your team in a position where they have a chance to win it every year. And the GM's job, I believe, is basically to get them to build the team that can win 2 rounds. And then after that, it's kind of a roll of a dice, and you're one of the people at the table. Like, I know we all want to say, hey, everyone, the goal is to win the Stanley Cup every year, but I don't know if the job description is actually to win the Stanley Cup every year, because if that was the actual quote unquote job description, a lot more GMs would be fired. Just only one person has success a year. So
I'm just laughing because in every new GM press conference, they don't get up at the podium and say, I'm going to bring a third round of the playoffs to Dallas.
I hope we can win 2 rounds.
Yeah. Well, every single July 1st free agency signing is, we've signed the guys that are going to make us tough to play and win the Stanley Cup. We're now a tougher team to play against because of today. You could go to any market in any city. I really look forward to the day on July 1st, a GM has signed a player and says, you know what? We didn't get our 4th, 5th, 6th, or 7th options, so we went and signed this guy who
we got worse today.
36 years old with a bad knee and is falling apart. I'm sorry. I'd like to be honest with the fans. We finally went and got the person that I could afford and not the one you really wanted. So I just look forward to the full transparency.
But you have to tack on the I can afford because I overpaid for this guy who's not getting the job done either.
Yes, exactly.
We messed up earlier.
Yes.
So that leads to, you brought up an interesting stat. So I want you to share it, and then I'd love to hear from Senior Ludwig over there if he has any thoughts. I don't even know where his brain's going right now.
No, I was watching. Sean didn't get to say a word until 3:05.
Yeah, see?
And I was just wondering if he was going to make up for it. He came close. He talked.
He almost got to the break.
I wanted to see if he was going to. You didn't let me down.
See,
Sean.
You didn't let us down because I never know what's going on up there. And that's
neither do I.
He may not be focused on what we're saying to him, but he's focused on something at all times.
My God, that's so great. So Sean, Stars 5-year playoff consecutive berths. How does that rank during current active streaks?
Hey, Ryan, our stock is up. It's up 3%.
Wait, what?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's a non sequitur, Sam.
We have one of these real shows a week. We're talking about
Just
stock.
popped up. I thought I'd share it with you.
No filter.
Are Luds and Ryan like in business together? Wait, what's happening?
I thought the question would be, wait, Ludwig has stocks? I have one.
What's it in?
What's it called again? SPR? XRP. You don't know it either.
Neither one of them said it right.
Yeah. I don't even know what it does.
All right, welcome to the DLS Stars Show and Financial Planning
The
Podcast.
financial crisis is here. Crypto.
Do not take anything we say as serious financial advice.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to bring us back on the rails so we can fall right off.
Let's do it.
How does 5 years in a row stand up? It doesn't sound like that long, although still very important. I actually do know the answer to this, but I'm giving Sean a chance to talk more than 2 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Stars officially clinching the playoff spot last night and the assumption that Toronto will miss the playoffs, which I think we can all assume is a semi-fair one. The Stars are going to have heading into this playoffs, the Stars will have at least the 6th longest active postseason streak in the NHL right now, possibly 5th, depending on where the Florida Panthers end up. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be 5 years in a row for the playoffs, and heading into this season, only 7 teams had reached the playoffs in more consecutive seasons than the Stars, and it's I think that's an important point to bring up contextually when you look around the league on things. There's obviously a couple teams that are close to that decade streak. The Lightning are obviously up there. The Avalanche haven't missed since 2016-17. But when it comes to the overall state of the franchise and where things are, the Stars really are one really injured year post-COVID run away from being one of the longest playoff streak teams in the league. And I think that's something that it both raises the expectations for the team, which I think is fair, and it's also something to acknowledge. And I think it's also an important element of it's why people care about this team so much. Just to be blunt, like, and we were talking about relevancy in this market and everything like that. Like our guys over at the Cowboys show have it easy. The Cowboys could go 0-16 and people would love that show. Oh, it would be amazing. Stars have a losing
and they're trying.
season. Yes, the Stars have a losing season. It's not nearly the same thing. I know there would still be a passionate group, and I'm not. But the Stars need the winning drives. It drives the experience, and it drives people paying attention, and that's what playoff hockey does. And it's one of the things. That's the Stars do that every year. When almost every year now, it's a good state of the franchise. Obviously, we and a lot of people listen to this show are a little bit on that higher sicko level stuff to quote our GM, even if it's not technically related to this. We're looking more and more for how do you win that 16th game in the spring. But on a wholesale thing, there's a lot of franchises, I think it's important to remember, that would love to change places with the Stars when you just look at playoff runs and experiences and everything like that. So
yeah.
Okay, Luds, this leads me to this question. As a guy that went to the playoffs a ton, Montreal, Minnesota, you played playoffs with the North Stars, right? No, missed that one. But then Dallas,
we moved. And
then a long time of playing a lot. How much of a toll does that take on a franchise to consistently? Obviously, the Red Wings had that amazing 25 years run, but then they're going through it now, and it's almost been a decade. It's not easy for the same group, with new players added in every now and then, to gear up over and over again. We're seeing what happened with Florida this year after winning the Cup in back-to-back years. How hard is it to be a consistently good team year after year after year?
Well, you said take a toll. I don't think it takes a toll. You're saying like going to the playoffs every year and playing extra hockey?
Physical toll of
the
playing extra hockey games.
Playoffs don't take a toll. It's the regular season that takes a toll. You look forward to the playoffs. I mean, that's
why. Then why does everybody always
talk about
talk
for the
about,
following season? Then
talk about Stanley Cup hangover.
Like Florida. Florida is
listen. There's
physically
only
beaten.
one team a year that has a Stanley Cup hangover. The other 31 teams don't.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't say that. The other team that loses, it's probably harder for the team that loses. Matter of fact, I think, and Sean would be able to verify this, I believe that it's more difficult for a team that loses in the finals to get back to it. Now, Edmonton's done it twice, but is more difficult than the team that wins. Now, from my point of view, wrong, because in our day, we drank right until camp. We didn't.
That was your off-season
no
training program.
Yeah, I mean, you enjoyed it because you don't think you're ever going to win it again, unless you're. But as far as it's told, I don't look at it that way because I think again, the older you get, that game 1 isn't as important as game 60, and so you and I think that I've had the luxury of having a couple good general managers and older coaches that understood all that too. I had Serge Savard, I had obviously Bob Gainey, guys like that they understood, guys that won a ton of cups, so they knew what it was going to be like.
Mm-hmm.
And I just one thing, and Sean was talking, when you talk about general managers, and for Jim, I think you have to be able to recognize when the window is open before it closes. Yep. And I think you almost need a crystal ball, and then you can add those pieces, in there. But again, I think, and Sean, I don't know if you said it or not, because obviously I wasn't listening, but what I think the most important part of a general manager is the future. to be able to draft.
Yes.
And when it comes to Jim and Sean, Jim Nill, I don't know if he is as much of a scout as he always is, but he would always say he likes being on the road and he wants to scout. Now, I don't know if he does it as much.
I don't
he
think
used
that's
to.
changed at all.
Yeah,
I think he watches as many games as he can.
You have to be a special breed, because Gainey had me do it a couple times, to be able to go. And Sean, I know you do it, and you're part of that ridiculous breed. So what? but I mean, you have to be willing to go and watch. Now 15-year-olds, or Sean, is it 15-year-olds now, or are we going even 14-year-olds?
I mean, if you guys want an idea of how this all works, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. I'm going to go watch USA Hockey 14.
Just remember that means you got to be there by 6 a.m. 4 hours ahead of time now for your flights.
So wait,
no flights. I just have to drive there.
You're saying 14
you're driving?
Sean, was that 14-year-old nationals?
14U nationals are in Michigan here, so I'm going.
That's my point,
First,
and I don't.
That's crazy.
But those people that do that and can see somebody at 14 years old, that at the age of 20, not 18 years old. I mean when that player is 22 years old or 21 is going to be a superstar. I don't know how you do that. I mean, I don't know how.
I was, and like a good example, Lutz, is I was. Last 2 weeks ago, I was at the camp for the under-17 national team, and actually, good. He didn't. I don't think he made the team. They haven't officially made the roster yet. But Eli Bimmerl from Dallas was invited to camp, so shout out to Eli, a DFW product. But like, I'm right there, and ended up chatting with Mark Hunter, who's obviously the GM and owner of the London Knights, and because that's part of kind of the whole. This is a camp for you. What was that?
Pigpen. I can explain later.
Okay. And but
don't call him
talking
that.
with him, talking
Probably
to a
not.
couple college hockey coaches, had a conversation with 2 NHL assistant GMs are there that are watching these 16-year-olds, and it's wild to. And it's one of those things where the scouting side of things has been something I've dove into more and more in the past 2-3 years, and I'm not nearly as experienced in it to consider myself an expert on it, but it's interesting now to look at it, having just done it for a couple of years now, where you look at a player and it's that mindset of it's not necessarily, it is about who's best on the ice at the moment, but there's the mindset of what's transferable, what's going to allow a kid at the next level to succeed, whether it's at the USHL level or the college hockey level, or like, so we're watching like Matt Cullen's kid is Joey Cullen, probably one of the best 2010 born players, probably well known as going to be one of the big names for that draft year in 2 years. You're watching him play, and it's not about any of the physical tools. It's about it's actually all about the pace and how he controls the game. It's one of those where you're watching him play and you're like, wait, the way he can control space and open up pockets of space for his teammates, and the way you can manipulate it, that's the type of thing that is going to work well at the USHL level, and then maybe the national team, and then college hockey. And then there's another kid where you're looking at a kid who's 16-year-old who's already 6'5" and is just at the camp because he's 6'5" and big. He's from Florida, named Alec Walker. And you're watching him and you're trying to do the math in your head of like, this kid is 6'5", is bigger than everyone else, and is going through and just scoring 3.5 points per game for the Florida Alliance down in their league. So how do we figure out how he's going to translate as a player to the next level? His size is always going to keep him on that radar, but how do you translate that? It's one of those where I'm still myself learning all of that stuff. I don't pretend to know, but it's always fascinating for me to talk to scouts, and Joe McDonnell for the Stars obviously does a tremendous job with it. Jim did a tremendous job with it in Detroit forever and still continues to scout in Dallas. One of the things that's always been about those people, and one of the things that's always stood out to me about Jim, and it's one of the reasons I've always enjoyed covering him and working with him and chatting with him, is it's an information business. It's what you see, but it's also, I tend to notice some of the smartest hockey minds I speak to, and this isn't to be egotistical about myself at all, but they're the people that you'll talk to. Yeah. You'll talk about things, and they'll be curious of where a guy was playing. Like, I was talking to someone, and I'll save their face so their GM and boss doesn't come rip their head off, but there was someone from the Detroit Red Wings the other day, and I was talking to them about how I was over at the U17 watching the U17 team play the other day, and they immediately asked, "Hey, where was this kid playing on the power play? Was he on the half wall? Was he below the goal line? Those are the things that they're keeping track of all the time. And it's fascinating to see all this information business, how it all comes together. And when it comes to Jim Nill, Jim is still one of the more active GMs in doing that work himself. He has his scouting staff and trusts his people. But it's rarely that I'm at a big event that Jim has not been at. So I don't really know what I said for the last 5 minutes. I feel like I just kind of spoke and then
I forgot what I asked.
Meanwhile,
I liked it.
We have to go to break.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there picturing Sean as a meandering stream, and he's just going around, and you don't know which bend he's going to turn.
It's in the new show, Madison. By
There you go. Up next, 3 stars of the week
Emil
and
Hemming.
much more on DLLS. If you are not buying your meat, your seafood, your sides, your desserts, your breads, basically everything you need to cook, grill, smoke a fantastic meal at Wild Fork Foods Meat and Seafood Market, you're doing it wrong. But the good news is you can always rectify the situation. Wild Fork Foods has 9 area DFW locations, and they have some of the best meats, seafoods, and all the accessories you would need around. And it's so easy. So we've been there multiple times. One of the things on our visit a couple weekends ago out in the Louisville location, right off of 121 and Josie Lane, right near the Colony in Louisville, is that Casey showed us some of the easy stuff that you don't have to do a lot of cooking for. It's just, air fryer, oven, grill, pop it on. It's already, some of the stuff is pre-seasoned. It makes dinner super easy. But there's so much more than that, and you can do as much as you want. wildforkfoods.com is the website. Check them out and go to one of their 9 DFW locations.
If only there was some sort of sporting event coming up that's really exciting. Maybe the Stanley Cup Playoffs. The Dallas Stars have clinched their spot in the Stanley Cup Playoffs, and now you can get your tickets with Game Time. Game Time gives the advantage back to the fans. It's super easy to use, and it comes with a Game Time guarantee, so you can trust 100% the tickets you're getting are going to get you in the door so you can enjoy some Stanley Cup playoff hockey. Game Time is amazing. It's so easy. You'll go on there. They have zone deals. They have everything laid out. You look at the ticket price. It's the whole price. Everything you're going to pay right there up front. No surprise fees or anything crazy like that. And you can look at a view from your seat. Even pan around a little bit if you want to see who's around you, where the student section might be, so you can avoid the SMU section if you're a Miami fan. Whatever you need, Game Time has it for you. Take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code DLS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code DLLS for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
All right.
Bang.
Now that we have a full-on segment for 3 stars of the week, it's time for our 3 Dallas Stars of the week. And I don't know if it's been very common lately to have all 4 of us on the show at the same time explaining our picks. Because lately I've had to have, well, I'll read his picks or I'll do Sean's villains or we'll just whatever. So it's nice that you're all here. And to start the 3 Dallas Stars of the week,
You're welcome.
we begin with Luds.
Mystery time.
Luds,
Wow.
3 Musketeers of the week. Oh, boy.
Are those each Musketeers? That's a nice hat.
They are nice hats, aren't they?
Big eyes.
Okay, so remember,
got 'em
this
already?
is
Nice
this
fish.
is just the teaser.
Nice
We'll
fish.
give the Luds reveal at the end of the segment. Who do you think the 3 Musketeers of the week are? I'm guessing there's a constant theme. That's my guess.
Well, I think
They
there's
have some-
always something.
Yes, but because they're Musketeers, then they all have something in
What do
common.
Musketeers do?
Oh,
They-
yeah. You know what?
they
I didn't
protected
think of
the
that. They
king.
do have something
Protect
in
the king.
common. Yeah.
Okay, that's my
Okay.
guess.
I wasn't
All
really
right,
going
let's
there,
go to Sam. Sam is in studio. Yeah. So, lead us off.
Thank you very much. Let's go with number 3, Jake Ottinger. It's been fantastic. Numbers is amazing. I think he's been what Gulutzan always talks about. He gets to 2, and he finds a way to stop teams at 2, usually. And they've won a lot of games because of it. So Jake's an easy one. Wyatt, not only was he good and all over it, but franchise record. That's a pretty big one. Obviously, it got downplayed a little bit because they lost the game, but that's a pretty big thing. And he just, every time I feel like we go in the room and talk to Wyatt, we're asking him how it feels to be on the record, on the leaderboard of some record. And he just continues to break them. And then on the left, the new and improved Dallas Bash brothers, the Hryckowians, Dylan joining the Texas Stars will play on, I believe, Wednesday for them.
Out in California,
signed
right?
a deal, in San Jose. Signed a deal. So now there are 2 Hryckowians in the franchise, and I just hope, first of all, incredible how much they look alike. I hope these 2 are on the team at some point
there
together.
Looks a little bit like Sam Steele?
He does.
Yeah.
He doesn't rock the stash anymore
The
as much anymore.
Yeah.
The other kid, Dylan, looks like some actor. You guys
Was this like a Timothy Chalamet?
The guy from Star Wars.
Doesn't he have a
Ryan,
podcast?
Star Wars,
Chalamet?
Kylo Ren.
Oh, you're talking about
That's
Adam
who he looks
Driver?
like.
Well,
Sure.
that's Siskel and Ebert over there. He knows all
He knows.
the
That's what he
movies.
looks like. You watch
Who
Star
does,
Wars? You
who
watch
does
Star
the
Wars
brother
ever?
look like with the red tie on? An actor. Oh,
Tom Cruise. Him?
no. Who's that?
That's the guy from Star Wars.
Okay.
All right, so there's Sam's 3 stars of the week. We'll get back into Hryckowian if we have time a little bit later, but let's go to Sean now for one of my favorites, the villains of the week. Sean, you have to unmute, though.
We can't see him, so that's even better.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Sean?
I was just gonna let it be quiet and let you guys react. That's what
That
I
would have been
was
good.
gonna do. We're gonna go with number 3 with Riley Smith. Obviously, former star, scored the game-winning goal against Vegas. More of a representation of a couple other things in that game. Number 2, Jack McBain against in that Utah game. I was debating between. I decided to be kind to Casey DeSmith because he played well last night, but obviously Jack McBain with the shorthanded goal, the fight with Liam Bishop, and then number 1 was
Oh, no.
where what are we
Look
doing?
at that picture,
Overtime
too.
against
The
Minnesota,
picture is
folks.
perfect.
I'm getting
That is,
electrocuted over here from my wire in my leg.
Sorry,
right-
Sean. Lutz is getting a current of
Lutz
electricity.
is literally being
from-
electrocuted
So not only is his tablet from the early 2000s,
from BC.
he's been trying to cobble together the charging cord with duct tape multiple times.
I got it. I
And
got
it's-
one
it's-
end against the
it's
chair, and the other end
zapping.
in my leg.
He's trying to
He's
keep
giving me little jolts.
Oh my
He bought a
God.
new one, though. It's coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thank goodness.
let's move on.
Don't get
They-
a new tablet.
They somehow
Just get a
still
new
make
cord.
chargers for that thing.
All right, my picks, and then we'll go to the Musketeers guy over there. So I
have no
had
idea
2
what yours
similar
are.
picks to Sam. I know Miro Heiskanen had a couple of cringy moments yesterday, and there were some people saying they thought it maybe was his worst game of the year, but he did pick up an assist, and it's notable because that was his 50th of the season, which is the most on the team. It took missing 13 games due to injury for Mikko Rantanen to be caught and passed in team assists because he's at 49 by Heiskanen. But he also hit a big mark because he's only the second defenseman in franchise history to have multiple 50-assist seasons. Craig Hartsburg, who Luds we talked about last night, did not intersect with the North Stars, but he did it 3 times. Miro's now done it twice. So pretty big accomplishment for number 4. And then Sam and I had the other 2 were similar, but in different orders. Wyatt with the franchise record for 23 power play goals in a season is great. Amazingly, and we'll talk about this later in the show, the offensive numbers from the skaters this week versus last week have dropped pretty significantly, maybe to the Luds' point about the results. But then Jake Ottinger continues this record point streak, 14 games now. He's 12-0-2. He's had a heck of a run. And look at the numbers, that 1.41 goals against, 9.52 save percentage just in the 2 games he played this week. He is dialed in. This is the best we've seen him all season long, and it couldn't be at a better time. All right.
Oh, boy.
Now cringe. Buckle up. Brace yourself. It's reveal time.
I want to say I either want to
Okay.
say it's a line, like a trio.
I think you're on to something with it being a trio.
Yeah, I would.
But I don't know
it's
which-
the Three Musketeers.
But I don't know
that
which
would be a
line
trio.
because none of the lines play together consistently.
Do we have any guesses from outside of this
Let's look.
building? Isn't
Yeah.
that?
Meaning Sean. Sean, do you have any guesses for Luds' thought process? Sean's probably on
I
mute
have
again.
my one question. My one thought is, and I don't know if he's in here, but the one person who's done any fencing work is the image of Justin Hryckowian with the basically the stick point towards the Oilers bench, and so I can't help but look at this and think of the kind of the sword point, and then just think it's just 3 Justin Hryckowians all in a row. So I know I'm not right, but that's what I
Actually,
think
I like
about
that
right
line of thinking. Luds, we're not anywhere close, though, are we?
Not really. Do we do? Oh, there they are. So,
oh my God, Ryan looks amazing in this.
Okay, so
And you've got the mustache today.
here's the reason why. So these three dudes had to battle through some unbelievable illnesses. Sam apparently had hepatitis, and he's back. So he's at least around, and he actually got lost going to CVS. Apparently, couldn't come back to finish the show.
Oh my God.
So again,
There's a cut on the nose too.
Scratching the
in
nose
there.
from his
I know he's
dog.
got the
Is
dog
excellent.
scratched on it.
Excellent.
It's been a rough week and a half.
God.
And then Owen battling through, coughing and gagging, spitting up the whole time for 4 games or whatever we did. And then our first star with 102 temperature and having to deal with both of you guys with your gagging and everything else is Ryan Voders, our producer.
It
So
should
there
be
you
the
go.
3 sickos of the week.
So we were right there
I
on,
don't
on
even
our
know how you
guesses.
pick 3 stars when a team goes 1, 1, and 2 or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
that's fair. Well,
That was awesome.
I'm pretty proud of that. And yes, we did find out that the hard way that that's not how you test for COVID. And
There's no
flu A.
CVS in my town.
There's what?
I had to go to a different town. CVS.
I think they're called cities here.
Your,
is that right?
your town?
Oh, I'm from New Jersey. I don't know.
Town. I
There are
live in a
towns in
town.
New Jersey.
1,200 people. That's a town, I think.
Yeah, my town in Maine is like under 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My town here is like
Yeah,
250,000.
there you
I don't know if village is quite the right.
Yeah.
We're going to Frisco Village. All right, up next, let's hear from the general manager himself because we have some injury updates that we think are enlightening because we might actually have a moose sighting on the horizon here on DLLS.
Is this a live read?
Walk me right into it. Ryan, speaking of the moose, he's coming back. Let's pull up the moose. There's the finisher. All right. Now let's slide over to the Finnish Mafia. Oh, there's the moose.
There's the moose.
There's the other moose. See, that's too bad. Some guys don't have anything, and the moose he's on 3.
He's
of
got
them.
3
Here's the
shirts.
Finnish Mafia shirt. Now let's go to the hoodie that doesn't have holes for strings in it, which is a classic. Let's slide in the hats. Sam's hat.
It's getting there.
There it is. There's Sam's little caddy hat and the white one that we all like. Got to pull up Wyatt, the Wyatt Johnston shirt.
The new one?
We've got 2 of them. We got to hit them both.
Your
There's
sharpshooter
both of them.
shirt.
I like your alliteration there.
Where's
Thank
the
you.
other one? The 16-bit one. See, I got them working.
The one
on
I was
Yeah,
there.
wearing.
You
you're-
go.
I wore that yesterday and also this morning.
Yes.
Wait, you wore it again?
That's
I just
because he
slept
didn't
in
take
it.
it off.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Okay.
so now we need the Robo shirt,
Yeah,
and
look
then
at that.
appropriately, let's finish with the captain.
Man, you took us on a journey.
There you go.
That was fun.
I just figured we have always do just 2 of them.
That was fun.
AllDLS.com. Get your merch today, Sam.
Yes, I'm looking in the chat right now, and I see a lot of green usernames, which means we have a lot of Supporters Club members in our chat.
Oh, I see him too.
I think Bobby from DLS, I don't know if you know him, he's one of the only ones in the chat that doesn't have it. I don't have it either, but it's because
Is Bobby in our chat?
mine expired. But Supporters Club is where it's at. You get exclusive emojis, exclusive badges, and exclusive behind-the-scenes videos. I said this yesterday, but then I went and did it, so I hope you guys do the same. Go watch Lud's videos back-to-back. You can either go Montreal Stanley Cup, then cursing for 7.5 minutes, or you can go the other way around, depending on your mood, how the mood strikes you. It's where it's at. For the real ones, true sicko level stuff, go join the Supporters Club right now before the playoffs start so we can see you in the chat and you can use the Stanley Cone like I see just ripping through the chat right now.
Love it. All right. Sean has called for the ball before we get to the Jim Nill quotes that we want to play. So, Sean,
I have for TO. For TO, I have. I gotta tell him that.
oh,
there you
he's
go.
got the shirt,
Nice.
the hoodie. Hey, can you
TO
show for
credit
Luds
there.
that there's no string in
Do
the
you,
hoodie?
do you have your strings in there?
No holes.
No.
There's no strings. There's no strings. But
No strings attached,
I
Luz.
don't know. What do you do when the wind is blowing?
also,
Like, how do you tighten it up
question:
around your ears?
I'm
Just gonna blow
just
right
curious.
back.
Tape it.
Headband?
Curious if enough thought went into this. Are we aware how well thematically done the Jason Robertson shirt is? Is anyone aware of that?
Can you get to more
Elaborate.
detail, please? Oh, good word
So-
for
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Good
I
job,
have a
Sam,
new
yeah.
widget on my phone.
You might even make it as a writer yet, Sam.
I literally have a new widget that tells me a new word every day.
He is. He's learning his
Today's is
vocabulary on his phone.
Boutade.
So
A witty
do you
remark
guys
or
know
playful
where-
comment.
So, do you guys know where the movie RoboCop was shot?
I only know this because GM Ben told me.
In Switzerland.
What happened?
The movie RoboCop.
I'm guessing
yeah,
it around LA.
Do you know where it was filmed?
Seattle?
It was filmed in Dallas, including scenes at Reunion Tower, actually.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't even know how.
So it was, they thought, now it takes
idea.
place in Detroit, but it was filmed in Dallas because they didn't think Detroit didn't look city enough for them when they were filming RoboCop in 1987. So I don't think anyone here realizes how, I hope maybe this goes into the shirt design, but the whole Jason Robertson RoboCop, where obviously a movie that is been out for a long, long time now. Sam, it's an old movie.
1987. I've seen it. Not only have I seen it, but Arnold Schwarzenegger was supposed to play it, but he couldn't fit in the suit because he was too big.
That's good. Did you just look that up on right now, or did you know that one?
No, I looked up the year.
He dunked on us with a
I did know that.
1980s
Big Schwarzenegger
RoboCop.
guy. Big
There you go.
Schwarzenegger.
Hey,
Sam,
Sean,
have
I
you
have a
seen-
question. Oh, okay.
Got my pen.
I was going to
Well,
say,
you
I was
threw
going to
your
ask
pen.
Sam
Oh, yeah.
Tron. I was showing the kids Tron this weekend, the original.
I haven't seen
one from
Tron.
1982.
I did
Sick
see the new
reference.
Running Man.
Oh, thanks, bud. Dude, your references are out of control. Everyone knows
That's
that.
a perfect time for that drop. All right, that's a good way to segue into let's talk about the Moose.
Wait, I got a
It
question.
took us 7
No,
minutes.
I-
Yeah. Give Lud's question.
What
Lud's
are
question.
what are the percentages, since we're talking to Robo, or we were talking about Robo in Seattle and Dallas? What are the chances Robo signing for sure here?
Are
you in the
signing
80, 90?
in general, or signing before the end of the regular season?
No, just he's coming back to Dallas. I mean, are you at 90% or are we still? They can't take 3 minutes.
85%.
85. Okay, good. That's it. Move on.
And it's a summer thing.
Yeah, off season. They're not doing it before then.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Speaking of Jim Nill, nice segue, Sean.
That was me that did that. I gave you
Okay,
the
nice.
segue.
No, Lud's,
You were
nice
talking about
segue.
Seattle.
Let's talk about this. So Jim Nill, the Stars general manager,
Yeah, that was
made an
moving.
appearance on the Stars radio pregame show last night, and which is on the ticket in Dallas. And we have a couple audio clips because he provided some injury updates on the three main injured players that we've been dealing with: Mikko Rantanen, Roope Hintz, and Radek Faksa. Now, some of it's still the same, but there's some clarity here. Let's start with the Moose because it's the most relevant, the most current, and the most encouraging.
Mikko started skating with the team just before they left for this last trip. He'll join the team full time. He's going to be skating here the rest of the way. He's going to go on the road trip with us. The plan is hopefully to get him in maybe one of those games towards the end of the trip. We have a back-to-back, I think Philly, Pittsburgh. Hopefully get in one of those games. That gives him another kind of 2 weeks to get himself ready.
We were talking, Luds, about a week ago when Gully was giving us the 10-day to 2-week number, saying if he's there by the beginning of April, that's a good sign. So now we're talking about the Stars aren't practicing today. The team had a day off. I would anticipate that we would see Mikko Rantanen at morning skate for the first time since the injury in the Olympics.
Just the optional skate was the
Tomorrow.
only time we've seen him.
Right?
Yep.
So tomorrow with full skate, goes on the trip, and whether it's the Saturday in Pittsburgh or Sunday in Philly, I don't think he plays both. So one of those, maybe it's the Philly game, but that's really encouraging because now you still have, 3 weeks of the season to get the Moose ready for the playoffs?
Here's the deal. When he says one of those games, do you think that he's going to play the third game of the road trip and not play the fourth? You think you're going to put him in and then take him out?
No, it's probably not. Doesn't
That's
make a lot
why I
of
So
think
sense.
that's why he's gonna play the
I would
last
think he would
game.
play Sunday and then he would play the next one. That's my guess.
That he'll go. He'll
Like, he
return
I don't
would
think
against
he's going to
the
take a game off in between.
No, I'm saying he wouldn't play Saturday because I don't think he'd come in and play back to back.
Yes.
So I'm guessing he plays Sunday and then
and Lud's is saying
and then he's
once
back with the team.
You're not
That's what I
dragging
mean.
him out of the
Yeah,
lineup.
Yeah, I mean, if he says one of these games, I don't anticipate it being. I don't care if it's the first game or the fourth game that you're not going to play the next game.
Yeah.
On that trip. So
That's why I don't think it's the second
Yeah.
one, and it's definitely not the Islanders because Patrick Waugh forbid him from playing against the Islanders.
And he doesn't need to play all these games. I mean, I know he'd like to, but
You said you want him to play like
I mean, he plays 5-6
6,
games.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Is
that's
that-
going to be plenty. For
Is
him.
other than Islanders fans, anybody really upset about Mikko maybe not being ready to play against?
Does anybody
the
even
Isles?
remember that until you bring it up?
Yeah, I was going to say, does anyone, who's going to remember? Like, who remembers? I mean, other than maybe Islanders fans bringing it up.
Islanders
I'm just-
fans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've
Still
I've
could be a
seen
story.
multiple people asking about it on social media. So Islanders fans certainly remember it.
So we stay off social media, Sam. It's a bad place.
Yes.
But actually, Sean, you make up a great point.
I only go on MySpace.
Because
there he is.
The New York, there's, oh man, wow, Ryan.
Nice,
well done.
Ryan.
I don't know
That's-
exactly what he said, but just looking at him, the last word he said is off. I don't know what led up to anything else, but that's
I believe he
off.
said you are not going to effing finish that game in Long Island.
Well, I can't believe you pulled that up. That was really well done.
Good.
The Islanders are hanging on by the skin of their teeth to a playoff spot right now. So to Sean's point, even if they do remember the game, which will be Thursday on Long Island, it's not the time for them to try to settle scores because they are clinging to their playoff lives right now.
Unless they're losing by 2 or 3 goals with about 3 minutes to go in the game. You can settle scores then.
But on the flip side of that,
playoffs.
I don't think the Stars are intentionally holding Rantanen out until the weekend to avoid that game.
Is Matt Martin still on the Islanders?
No.
They scratch him, and he fights Mikko Rantanen in the press box.
Makes total sense.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Let's hear from part 2, which is a very short update on Roope Hintz. You're on DLLS.
Roope Hintz really just, he hasn't skated yet. The plan is hopefully start of the playoffs or maybe the week before, but we'll wait and see. It's not something that you can just say, oh, here's the date that's going to be ready here. We'll have to see once he gets skating where he's at and go from there.
So, maybe a couple games before the end of the season.
Yeah, I think what did he say? A week before, maybe the playoffs.
No, I think he started by maybe the playoffs.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then he went back to maybe a couple games before.
Well, if you notice, we do have Faksa on here
I
as
do.
well. So you'll notice a theme. Pretty much all of them, there's kind of except for Rantanen, that Rantanen was a little more sure, but Jim's giving a little bit of that hesitation with all of them.
You're talking about giving him some leeway of not being too specific.
I think they understand. That's why I think Rantanen, the news of Rantanen is so big because this was all so vague. And it was like, oh, we think he'll be here, but all of a sudden 2 weeks became, 10 to 12 days from now, which was already a week later. So the Rantanen one's huge. The Roope and Faksa, as we'll hear, are a lot more vague still in that sense.
Luds, did you make anything? You just mentioned it, but on the hint stuff, that maybe start the playoffs or maybe the week before, does that give you any doubts?
Well, the other part was he hasn't started skating yet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the first thing he says. He hasn't started skating yet.
Yep.
That's usually week at least, to get in.
At least.
And then the skating part means he hasn't skated with nobody.
Yeah.
And then he's got to get into a practice.
Yeah, when they say start
do that
skating,
kind of
that's on their own up in Frisco. Then it's like becoming a participant.
I'm
in
sure
practice
they
and
would
morning
like to get
skates.
him in. I mean, ideally, I think with that, if they could get him at least a game or two before the playoffs start, that would be
We're right
nice.
back to last year again.
Well,
It's the same damn conversation.
ready to talk about 99.9%?
Oh, yeah. Here's your boy.
Here's Radek Fox's update from Jim Nill.
Radek Faksa is kind of the same thing. His injury, there's really no, it was a unique injury. Unfortunately, I can't talk too much about it, but an injury that there's really no history with it as far as the healing time. So we're also hoping that that's maybe start of the playoffs. But we're hoping maybe that first round sometime along the way. There's always, the tough part is they can get back and get skating. Now there's the, you got to get yourself up to speed. It's getting the body up to speed, getting the lung capacity going again. So we'll wait and see where that goes.
Did you cut off the part where he said, but it's okay, we got Ritzy Ritz here?
He didn't say that
didn't
part.
say that?
No, but
We got R2.
But I mean,
Yeah, he's not saying it. And again, with this type of an injury, there is no history on how it plans out. You
Right.
can't.
Does that
So we
worry
know
you
what
at
it
all,
is.
though? Like,
Huh?
because the way he said it makes me think that it's a very unique injury. Like, he said it 2
He
times.
said
Yes.
there's no history.
So does that worry you at all? I mean, that turns it from, hey,
doesn't
we're
worry
not.
me.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean, though. If you're
you
the
can't
team,
ask Luds if he's worried about anything other than like D-zone coverage.
I just like getting out of here on time. That's usually all I'm worried about.
well, not today. We got to record. But I'm just wondering, like, if once he's saying it's unique and there's not a history, that to me feels like it could drag and you just have no idea.
And I don't know if they.
He should have just finished it by saying TBD.
Yeah.
That's what he should have done.
He did say, I don't know if that was in there. He will play at some point. Now that doesn't tell us anything.
When he's
You
sick,
could take that to the
He
bank.
seems confident that he's going to play either this year, next year, or the following year. So
at some point in the not so distant but down the road
in his
future,
contract,
he may see the
And,
I mean-
and this is not, I don't know the proper way to say it, but he's of the three, he's the one that would be least missed.
Yes.
And I don't want to take anything against Radek because he's an important player on the fourth line and what he can do penalty killing wise and everything else. But go ahead, Sean. Jeez, I'll just shut up.
No. I was just gonna say, because I'm sure people are gonna want some clarity. Like, we do know that it is we know it's we've seen him in the boot. We know it's a foot injury, right?
Yep.
Like, I think that's
we know
like,
it's a lower
boot
body
and a
injury.
scooter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for just people listening at home, like, I think it's important, just a reminder, like, when you hear, hey, there's no history for this and we don't know, like, sometimes we think dangerous stuff, right? Like, I always think of the Stephen John stuff because that was the line of thinking they used with the line Jim used with the Stephen John stuff. And when the osteochondrosis discans stuff, before that came out with Matthias Janmark, that's what they used for this.
Yep.
Like, so don't know exactly, like, obviously we don't know exactly what it is, but I think it is important to note that we know it's a foot injury and we know that much. I think it's important to establish that we're not talking about a hidden head injury or something.
Yeah, I will say, seen him in a boot on the scooter. Yes. I think it's the same one that the rest of the team has already used this season. And then
same scooter.
Same scooter. And he's maybe boot too. I mean, who knows? Same scooter though.
I would like to think that an NHL organization has enough financial backing to have more than one boot.
Probably the boot is especially because Bischel had it first, which probably made it. Like, he's a big guy. It probably made it really sweaty
because we don't have a second boot.
Yeah, but I have seen him a bunch, and he's been either on the scooter, and then last time I saw him, he was walking on the boot, which I'm pretty sure he's definitely not supposed to do. So, scooters? Yeah, that's exactly what I said.
He said walking on what? What did you just say?
Scooter.
Luds, go for a soda.
Yeah. So,
that's a great song.
We'll have to keep an eye on this down the road. There's Luds on the scooter right there. We have to keep an eye on this because I think that obviously we'll have to wait until we see Faksa hit the ice. Just like Lud said with Hintz, it's maybe middle of the first round, maybe longer with Faksa. I just we knew it was going to be a weird one. We knew that Hintz was a little longer. I think that we should all be encouraged with the Rantanen news because we think the return is in sight, and that's something that you can get excited about, knowing that you still have 2 or 3 weeks to go. So that's the update from Jim Nill. Up next, a quick Dylan Hryckowian conversation, followed by Luds. I went and got some Gully audio for you from postgame last night here on DLLS.
If you love the NFL Draft, then this is your edge. The Die Hard NFL Draft Guide is built and based off of thousands of hours of film study, being boots on the ground, Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, Combine, talking to scouts, talking to coaches, really getting a feel for where these players are best going to fit and project in the NFL. We're talking hundreds of players in this class.
Cowboy fans, you got to have access to Fran Duffy's Die Hard Draft Guide because he knows exactly what the Cowboys are looking for and has in-depth scouting reports on everybody that can help this team. So help yourself and be informed about the NFL Draft. Make sure you got Fran's Draft Guide.
All right, so what are you going to find in the guide? Well, you're going to find player comps. You're going to find strengths, weaknesses, physical tools, analytics, highlights, analysis from all across the space, everything you need to try and determine who are the best players for your team. You get access to the guide if you're a diehard, and you'll also get access to a couple of individual breakdowns I'm doing specifically for your team. All right, look, if you want surface level breakdowns, you can get them anywhere, but if you want independent thought, if you want thorough breakdowns on all of these prospects, become a diehard, get the guide. Or you can get access to the 2026 guide for just $26. Let's win draft season.
If I get him, I get him,
Don't forget to sign up to be a diehard because not only could you get access to the Fran Duffy NFL Draft Guide that you just saw in the video, or if you're listening, you heard him talking about it. Scan the QR code right by that beautiful mug and quaff of Sean's over there. That QR code will take you to our website, alldlls.com. And not only can you sign up, but there's a whole host of features. First, would you like as Luds calls it, the green one? Or the black one. We're actually wearing the Face-Off collection shirts today.
I had that one too, but it's got a hole in the armpit.
How do you have a hole already? These are new.
Probably. I'm gonna blame the dog.
Okay, well, yeah, I mean, you have a couple of scratches and holes because of the dog too, don't you?
I certainly do.
Well, anyway, sign up to be a diehard, and you get access to all the writing that we have here on our site from the Cowboys, Mavs, Rangers, Stars. You can get a free shirt for your first year. You get discounts on all other merchandise, events, so much more. The community in the diehard only Discord lounge. And we are trying to make Sam, we'll see if he does it,
I did
do
already.
Oh, you did already?
Yep.
Well, then take
Sorry.
it away.
In the Discord is the college hockey bracket for us, a DLS diehard exclusive college hockey bracket. So if you want to finish second to me, then you can join the bracket and we can have some fun. The games start Thursday. So
I'm going to pick University
do it over
of
the
Maine
next 2
again.
days.
North Dakota?
No, they in the final.
Huh?
I got them in the final.
Yeah.
I am definitely
Losing though.
I am definitely picking the University of Maine again.
And you got green
They're not
on
in it. So
Oh,
I tried to pick the Miami Hurricanes. They didn't have a team.
Maine had a chance last year, not this year, unfortunately. Okay. We mentioned Dylan Hryckowian with Sam's 3 stars of the week, but actually an interesting point just that we hadn't had a chance to really talk about with all the games last week, that they did sign Justin's younger brother, Dylan Hryckowian, to a 2-year ELC for the next 2 seasons. He's joined the Texas Stars. I believe he met them in Henderson, Nevada, which is where they got absolutely blown out last night.
Yeah, they did.
But that's okay. And interestingly enough, because of the escalators in the CBA, his entry-level contract is just a little bit higher in money than his older brother.
Yeah.
If they're on the same team. So if Justin were to somehow get sent down, which seems very unlikely, or if Dylan were to be playing in the NHL, Dylan would make slightly more than Justin next year. That will probably change, as Luds likes to say, Ritzy Ritz is going to probably be Ritzy Rich. We'll get to that.
I saw that in your notes.
What do you think?
My notes?
What do you think about Dylan Hryckowian? I know you are a huge Ritzy fan.
Yeah, I went back and watched some of his highlights and stuff. I've watched a couple Northeastern games this year when they were in the Bean Pot. And you're never going to believe this, but he's often described as a workhorse.
That sounds so out of character.
His motor is the word I kept seeing everywhere that everyone kept talking about, which is literally what Luds used to describe Hryckowian, I'm pretty sure. Justin Hryckowian. But he's just a hard worker. He is very skilled as well. He's a righty. I think he's 21 years old. Scores some big goals. Like he scored the tying goal to force overtime. I think he was against BU in the Bean Pot. He's a very elite skater, but everything about him, if you look, and Elite Prospects, I don't know if Sean, if you ever heard of that site, they have everything. If you look at any of their scouting reports, any of their stuff, it's all the same type of thing. He's relentless, overwhelms opponents on the forecheck, defensively, high pressure type of guy, always going. So he's Justin Hryckowian. But the key thing that I want to bring up is consistency, which again feels like Justin Hryckowian. 3 seasons at Northeastern, 34 points in 34 games, 36 points in 36 games, 37 points in 30 games.
He's about a half a goal a game.
He's a
right?
point per game guy.
Yeah,
half a goal. Yep, half a goal guy.
What the heck was that?
Is that Miss Doubtfire? Oh, close enough. But I think he, as you mentioned, I think he's
Hit it again. I'll let you know what it is.
Boy, that's horrifying.
Is it from Hook?
From Young Frankenstein. Put it on the Ritz.
Oh, that's
every time.
Oh,
I forget that every
I haven't seen
single time.
it. Is that with the one with the guy that plays
Hey,
Willy
speaking
Wonka?
of which, on the sound system in the AAC last night, they played Taco putting on the Ritz after he scored. I can't believe it took him. It's 11 goals for Hryckowian.
Sounded just like Kim last night when I left the patio door open. And there were mosquitoes coming in. It sounded. That's why I said that. I'm like, she must have sent. But there was a few
That's
F's
putting
in
on
there.
the Ritz. My God, that's obscure. Question from the chat, Luds, because this is good for you. You played with the Hatcher brothers on the same team.
Yeah, not a good move.
If you have double Hryckowians on the Dallas Stars, how do you work out? techniques?
I don't know. I didn't. Well, Sean, what are you laughing at when I said not a good move?
I'm laughing at the. I've heard the stories of the Darien, and I've heard the Hatcher brothers stories of why that had.
The good news is Well, the good news is they're really close. You know what I mean? They really enjoy the time with each other. Bad news is they really enjoy the time with each other. So we all were excited when that happened, and then they didn't. I mean, because again, sometimes I'm not accusing the Ritzies being like that. I'm just saying. We like having good times.
They played together. They did play together one year at
Northeastern.
Northeastern.
They overlapped?
They played it. I don't know if they overlapped in.
Well, you can't
as
call
well,
them both
but
Ritzy, right?
Ritz Bits. Someone said online for the younger Ritz.
Ritz Bits.
So Ritz crackers, Ritz Bits. Right? Aren't those the small
I
ones?
love that.
It wasn't me. That was a
great.
fan that said that on Twitter. So X, I believe it's called now.
Can we let him make the team first?
Old man.
Well, he made the
yeah,
AHL
he's got to
team.
make the team first.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I think
Ritzy.
they use any forward they can get.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good. It's exciting because I think you don't know, and Sean's talked about it, but they have to restock now, right? They've traded away so many picks and younger guys. They're having a tough go up and down this year.
I don't know. I think Ritz pieces
down there.
It's Ritz pieces.
Ritz pieces is not a thing though, Luds. You're thinking
That's
Reese's
like Reese's
pieces.
It's gonna be a thing.
I'm excited to have Dylan on board.
We have
Plays
about
on Wednesday
5 minutes left, and
against
so I
Barracuda.
want to get to a couple of Glen Gulutzan
Ritz
clips from last
pieces.
night. Ryan, let's start with number
Don't you know what Ritz
2
pieces
because
are?
that'll be the conversation starter.
It's not a real thing.
All right, Luds.
Oh, it's
Reese's pieces.
I want you to hear this because this is
so.
something that Luds was asking for in the postgame show. Here's Glen Gulutzan talking last night after the loss to Vegas on the Stars' performance in the game, and listen to his comment about the offense drying up a little bit.
I liked our third, so that says a lot. You know, we're there's a lot of emotional hockey we've played. I thought we fought back in the third after you know, they outplayed us in the second. You can see a little bit of our offense is drying up, just what we're generating. You know, we survived this stretch with some guys out and some key offensive guys, and you know, to win, we've played really, really hard, and at some point you're going to have a little bit of a lull or a dip. That's the natural part of the season. So you can see that the last few games we just have not generated the same amount as we were for a while, and that's part of the ebbs and flows, but we've got to find it quickly here.
Code is you don't generally get consistent scoring out of your third and fourth line guys. That's your code. And we're missing our top guys. And we did good to survive, but don't count on these guys being 40-goal guys because they're not going to be 40-goal guys. But go back to how he opens up. He opens up like that in the game before that and the game before that. First thing he said is, I really liked our third period. In other words, our first two periods sucked.
Especially
you know what I'm
the
saying?
second.
And then, but he's had other games where, you know, I thought our first was good, you know, and then we dipped bit in the second, we fought back in the third.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not getting a consistent effort, you know, and again, and it's not about the scoring of goals, it's the game, because we're seeing, you know, now, what did they put up? 18, 19, 20 shots, or were they below that again?
I think they
yesterday?
ended up having 20, you want to say 8?
They've been, again, I just think all year long they've been very fortunate. We've talked about this many times. When they weren't playing well, it was goaltending and power play. And then all of a sudden power play key guys are out, and then you've got some other guys that are getting plugged in there and they're getting a goal a night. I mean, that doesn't happen all the time. So this is, and again, let's say the goaltending, both of them, especially Casey, has been stellar whenever he's got in, and Jake has been good. Jake just finds ways to win. So, you know, I think you look at it when we get all our pieces back and we're running on all cylinders and we play a complete game, and it may be just the right time of the year is when we're 5-6 games from playoffs starting.
Yep.
And we're, you know,
Right after they lose 3 of 5.
Oh yeah. Well, if that's what it takes, you know, if that's what you think the best way to go in is good.
By the way, I have 3 other clips. We don't have time for all of them, but we talked about the power play yesterday. 4-minute double minor, big moment in the game, 0 shots on goal. Go to Saturday in Minnesota, 4-minute double minor, big moment in the game. Didn't score, had a ton of scoring chances, looked good. Here's Gully after the game last night talking about that power play.
Yeah, we made a mistake there a little bit. You know, sometimes you overstay, and that's one thing that you don't want to do. And what happened was we polluted the second group because we overstayed on the first one, and then we had a mixed bag for a minute, and then it threw us off rhythm. So one of the keys when you get a 4-minuter is make sure guys change in 5s, you know, just to get complete units on and off. And we got caught in between a little bit, and that hurt us.
Sean, I thought that was interesting, the talk about losing flow. Both units had more time, right? Typically the second unit gets the dregs of a power play. They had 4 minutes, but boy, did that mess everything up, and they just looked disjointed.
I mean, it's a lot of times, one thing I give Glenn credit for is at least addressing it publicly. There's a lot of times where a coach won't even address that in the media or in public. It'll just be, oh, well, we move on and we figure it out. So I think that's good, and you know, he's not wrong. We had quite the conversation about the zapping of how much that power play zapped things yesterday. And
Let's do his own zapping over here.
Sorry, Sean. I said I got zapped twice with my own cord sticking in my leg.
Just like Lud's Court, I've lost my connection to my train of thought, so move on.
You know, you could go to CVS and get some cream for that. There's a really good CVS in the town over next to mine.
The town. I'm going to work on the
Am I going to make it
nomenclature.
back?
It's 15
Because apparently
minutes.
when you go to CVS, you don't make it back.
Well, it was also barfing, so that's part of it. But it's 15 minutes of the way there,
Did you say
45
barfing?
minutes on the way out. Yeah. Ralphing, is that better for you?
That's better.
Yeah, I think so. Well,
Sorry,
Okay,
Ralph.
That's our show.
we are back tomorrow with another game, part of 9 games in 15 days.
The
which
Devils.
is one of the most grueling 2-week stretches I feel like they've had in several years. 9 and 15 seems like a lot. You have to go back to the year after the COVID shortened season to the second COVID shortened season where the team had a big outbreak, missed some games, and then, 11 weeks of 4 games in 6 days? Just ground them into the dust. But Devils are in town tomorrow. Stars and Devils will play at 7 o'clock. Pre-game show starts at 6:15. Post-game show to follow. Should be all that fun. Sam, you'll be over at the arena, we assume?
Yes.
Unless you get locked into a CVS.
Yep. You got to be
Okay.
careful. You got to
That's
be
always
careful
good
of
to
that.
know.
You got to be
And,
careful.
of course, Luds and I will be here to break things down with Ryan, who has to be feeling great with his Musketeers hat on.
And his mustache.
And his mustache. No, you have to call
Oh,
it
it's
a
a moosh.
mustache.
A mustache.
You notice how he
Miro
scrolled through to
Heiskanen.
find the best looking picture he
He
could get
had
in
a
there.
very good
Oh,
looking
yeah.
AI photo. It was very much so.
He went back
Big
in the
thank you to
archives.
Sean Shapiro, for Craig Ludwig, Sam Nestler, I'm Owen Newkirk, and of course everybody for watching. And all our diehards, we will be here tomorrow night. Stars and Devils. Until then, enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks for watching DLS.
We all silly like the mayor.